This is 7.2, lesson 1, and for this lesson we are going to apply the Pythagorean theorem to real-world situations. So as a review, the Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared, where the longest side of the triangle, of the right triangle, is called the hypotenuse, and it is opposite the right angle. So looking at letter A, we have our right triangle. Our side opposite that right angle is letter C, which is our unknown side. A and B, it doesn't matter which one we pick for those. So we're going to plug them into our formula. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. And we're going to have 8.75 squared plus 18 squared equals c squared. 8.75 squared, we're going to round that to be 76.6 plus 18 squared is 324 equals c squared. When I add these two numbers together, I get 400.6 equals c squared. And then in order to get c by itself, my last step is to always square root to get rid of my square. And when I square root this, I'm going to get about 20.0 feet. Letter B, again, we need to label them A, B, and C. C is the side opposite our right angle, so that's 12. We already have B labeled, so we're going to say 10 is A. So again, we have our formula where A is going to be 10. So we have 10 squared plus B squared equals 12 squared. 10 squared is 100 plus B squared equals 144. In order to get B by itself, we first need to subtract 100 from both sides, so that we get b squared equals 44. And our last step to get b by itself is to square root both sides. And this is going to be an approximation, so b is about 6.6 miles. Letter C says a 12-foot flagpole is placed in the center of a square area. To stabilize the pole, a wire will stretch from the top of the pole to each corner of the square. The flagpole is 7 feet from each corner of the square. What is the length of each wire? So we have our flagpole, 12 feet tall, and from the flagpole to the corner is 7 feet, and we are trying to find the length of this wire. Okay, now I know in this picture this angle looks bigger than 90 degrees, but if we think in real life with the flagpole on the ground, that is actually a 90-degree angle right here. Okay, so then opposite our 90-degree angle is side C, which is what we don't know. So then we'll label these. 12 will be our A, 7 will be our B. Again, those can be switched. And we plug it into our formula, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, where a is 12. So we have 12 squared plus 7 squared equals c squared. 12 squared is 144, plus 7 squared is 49 equals c squared. 144 plus 49 is 193 equals c squared. And then our last step is to square root both sides. Square root of 193 is about 13.9 feet. Letter D, the top part of a circus tent is in the shape of a cone. The tent has a radius of 50 feet, and then the distance from the top of the tent to the edge is 61 feet. How tall is the top part of the tent? So we are trying to find how tall, or the length of that line there. So our side opposite our right angle is our C, so 61 is our C. Then between our two legs, it doesn't matter A or B. So again, we have our formula, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. We do not know what A is, so we leave it as a squared, plus b is 50, so we have 50 squared equals 61 squared. We're going to go ahead and simplify. A squared plus 2,500 equals 3,721. Then we're going to subtract 2,500 from both sides. so that I get a squared equals 1,221. We square root both sides, and a is going to be about 34.9 feet, but it says round to the nearest whole number, so it's going to be about 35 feet. Letter E. Now letter E doesn't give us a picture, so we're going to draw this as I go through reading it. So it says 2 cars leave a house in Richmond, Virginia. So we're going to say right here, this point is our house. Okay, so one of the cars travels 8 miles north, so north is going to be up. And then 6 miles east, so if we remember our directions, east is going to be to the right, 6 miles. So this is our first car and where they ended up. Our second car travels 12 miles south and then 9 miles west. And they end up right here. And we are trying to find how far apart these two vehicles are. Well, my purple vehicle, my second vehicle, we can go ahead and connect our line to our home and then connect all the way to our other car. That's going to be our shortest distance away. So we are trying to find this total distance. Well, I can find my orange distance and I can find my purple distance, and to find my total distance, we'll then add them together. So for my orange triangle, my unknown is letter C. So I'm going to have 6 squared plus 8 squared equals C squared. So we have 36 plus 64 equals C squared. When we add those, we get 100 equals C squared. Square root both sides to get 10 equals C. So this side right here is 10 miles. Then for our purple triangle, our right angle is here. So then our side opposite is our letter C. So we're going to have 12 squared plus 9 squared equals C squared. So that's going to be 144 plus 81 equals C squared. And those added together are going to give us 225 equals C squared. We're going to square root both sides to get 15 equals C. So this distance is 15 miles. But if I'm finding their total miles apart, I need to add 10 and 15 to be 25 miles apart. Letter F says find the length of the diagonal of the rectangular prism. So the line that we're trying to find is this one right here. Okay, it goes through the very middle of a box. It's not on the edge of a box anywhere. It goes directly through the middle of the box. Okay, so this line is actually part of a triangle. Okay, the back line, the back dotted line, is one leg of a triangle, and then the diagonal across the bottom is our other leg. And this actually forms a right angle, because whenever we think about a box, this is a 90-degree angle. Well, we know some of the information. We know how tall the back of the box is because it tells us over here, and it's going to be 15 centimeters. However, we do not know the length of this diagonal. We know that this length down here is 10. Okay, so our bottom line is 10. We also know that across from here, this is going to be 6. Okay, so we actually have this triangle on the bottom, which includes that one leg that we need to find out. Well, if we think about a box, even though this angle looks small, if we think about a box in real life, that angle is actually 90 degrees. Okay, so we have a right triangle down here, so we can actually find this missing side, and it's our letter C. So we're going to have 6 squared plus 10 squared equals C squared. 6 squared is 36 plus 100 equals C squared. So we have 136 equals C squared. We're going to square root both sides. The square root of 136 is about 11.7. Okay, so this line right here is 11.7. We now know our other leg of this triangle. This is 11.7. Now we have to be careful because the side that we need to find is actually a part of the orange triangle, and that side is opposite our right angle. So this orange line that we're trying to find is now our letter C, and 11.7 is now either an A or a B in our orange triangle. So our new Pythagorean theorem is going to be 15 squared plus 11.7 squared equals C squared. 15 squared is 225 plus 136.89 equals C squared. 225 plus 136.89 gives us 361.89. And then we need to find the square root of both sides, and that's going to give us approximately 19.0 centimeters as the length that we need to find. And then letter G, ask us to find the slant height of the pyramid. So slant height is different than the height of the pyramid. Height of the pyramid is from like the floor to the ceiling of it. Slant height is the height of the triangle on the side of the pyramid. So in this picture over here, what we are trying to find is this side. Okay, so we have this triangle here where we know that 24 is our height. Okay, it's one of our legs, so we can say it's letter A. Our other leg, which would be our B, is not 16, but actually half of 16, because this is the center point, which means that this line right here is half our total distance. So this is going to be an 8. And what we don't know is opposite our right angle, so it's letter C. So we're going to have 24 squared plus 8 squared equals C squared, where 24 squared is 576 plus 64 equals C squared. We add those to get 640 equals C squared. And then we're going to square root both sides to get 25.3 is about our C.